We'll do, since we have discussed web server yesterday, we'll continue the topic. Depending on the web server, there are two more other services which we need to discuss. It's like a continuation of that, so that we will be able to feel that real-time scenarios, how and why we will be using these things. So before that, so let me explain you why we will be using that. So what happened is like, let's say these are your customers who will be visiting your website. And in AWS, you have launched your web server. So this is a web server, and this will have a one public IP. So what do you think, guys? In real-time companies, these companies, do they have only one web server? Is one web server enough to handle all the traffic?
No.
No. Then okay, fine. So one is not enough. So what we'll do? Let's say you have launched some three missions, three web servers. So you will have three IPs. One, two. So now my question is, which IP will you give to the customers to access your website?
Public IP?
Public IP.
Of course, each mission has a public IP, right? So three web servers are there, three public IPs are there. Which public IP you will give?
The first one.
Why? Why not two? The other two?
DNS.
It's a master server.
DNS.
Master. Everything is same. The content is same in any server. Everything is same as this. What is there in this, everything is same. There is no like this is first, this is second like that.
Sorry, username and DNS are same.
Username. You see, customers don't know what is username, these things. They just know how to type google.com, facebook.com, that's it. You
Yes,
have to take care everything back in. So now the problem here is there is a no single point of entry, right? You say, let's say someone said, I will give this IP to the customers. So what happens if this machine is down? For some reason, if this machine is down, again you will give customers to the another IP. How will you inform? It is not your internal organization. It is a public thing. Will Google every day change IP? Today I use 1234. Tomorrow I use 4567. Will they give any news like that? Every day Google.com is Google.com only, right? No matter if their web servers are down or not down, that doesn't matter. Every day Google.com is Google.com. You have to access the website every time you try Google.com. That's it. So how can they achieve that architecture, that stable architecture? So for that, the thing, the first thing we are looking here for is single point of entry. Single point of entry for your traffic. So how can you achieve this single point entry? So let me draw clearly. This is web server 1. This is web server 2. This is web server. So these things. What is this? Have you ever heard this word?
Yeah, load balancer.
Load
It
balance.
will traffic.
So the first characteristic of load balancer is it gives us the option for making your traffic at a single point of entry. So whenever now customers hit now that means you will be sharing with your customer not the individual IPs of these missions, because if you share one IP, maybe if this is down, what can you do? Again, customers will say your website. Let's say you have given one IP to one person and another IP to another person. When this machine is down, this person cannot see the website, but this person can see the website. Is that technically correct? If
No.
if one guy is not able to access, obviously other also should not be able to access. If one person is able to access, obviously other persons also should be able to access. That should be the concept. But this should not be the concept. So that is the reason. So we achieved a single point of entry with the help of load balancer. That is the first character. characteristic of load balancer. So that means we will be giving to the customers the address of load balancer instead of the IPs. Next, what is the second characteristic of load balancer? The name itself is saying load balancer. So what did we discuss in auto scaling in demo? Let's say 3 machines are running. So already this needs 99%, 99%, 99%. What will happen? Again, even though the next time it will come, it will be, let's say let's say for some reason this web server is down. This is down. So even then you, me, and some other guy are doing shopping. When I hit facebook.com, my request went to this server. When you hit facebook.com, it went here. When other person hit facebook.com, his request went here. So what is happening here? I am not able to see the website. You are seeing website. Other person is also seeing website. Is this a good architecture? Just now we discussed.
No.
It should be same for everyone. Whether the website is not available, whether the website is available, it should be same for everyone. So here that means what can you achieve, guys? Can you say load is balancing? So there is no, so load is getting balanced. So one request will go load balance. So the technical name, sometimes they might ask in interview, what is that type of balancing method used by load balancer of AWS? We call it as round robin. Not all people might ask, but people who are experienced, they will ask because they know much about this. The type of load balancing used in AWS load balancing is round robin. What is round robin? One request will go here, next year again. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That means equally, the load is being distributed equally. Such a way, not only on single server, there is not much load. When the load is distributed like this 1, 1, 1, obviously there won't be much pressure on each server. That is called the type of distributing the traffic. We call it as round robin style. That is a second characteristic. And what is the third characteristic? The traffic is routed only to the LE server. Now is the point, guys. What did I say? If my request, if not, I am not able to see website. How other people is able to see website? This should not happen. That means whenever any server is not working properly, what load balancer will do? It will not send traffic to the server. That is called routes traffic only to the health server. So whenever I hit, if this is not working properly, what load balancer will do? It won't send here. It will send somewhere 2 or 3. So these 3 are the characteristics of a load balancer. Okay. So usually whenever I take interviews, I just ask simple question. What can the load balancer do? What is the uses of load balancer? Just by name itself, everyone say it will balance the load. There is nothing much technical. In the name itself is there. So many people skip to, forget, or maybe they don't know, maybe they forget. They say to these answers, these 2 points. Single point of entry of traffic and the traffic is routed to healthy server. This is very much important. Why? Because this is proper technical reason, healthy server. Load is getting balanced, that is okay. But what is the use of sending the traffic to unhealthy server? If it's not working, it is of no use. The customer can't see the website. That is the reason why load balancer will balance the load. Not only balance the load, but it will also make sure the traffic is sent only to the healthy server. Now, how the single point of entry is possible here? How the single point of entry is possible? So that means if you think technically, there is no IP involved. This is having IP. This is having IP. This is having another IP. But what will load balancer have? Load balancer will never have an IP. Load balancer will have only DNS. What is DNS, guys? Just instead of IP, you can use name. So all these days, whenever we launching Linux, all these days I was saying, for now remember, IP or DNS is same. To say exactly, I'm not saying in-depth and general information I'm saying. Now what is happening, you see, your website is inside this mission, okay? But this mission is having IP. But at the same time, you can't give to the customers the IP. So what you will do, you will map this IP number to something called domain name.
Naming server.
Domain means something like google.com, facebook.com, xyz.com, raymond.com, these things. This domain
Name.
name you will give to the customers, right? So can you remember some IP easily or can you remember google.com easily?
Name.
Obviously,
Google Doc.
name. We are all humans, we can remember names easily. That is the result. So that's why I'm saying all these days, IP or DNS, anything is same. Why anything is same? It's nothing but you're connecting IP to the name just for the easy, so that customers can remember easily. That's it. So now the single point of entry is possible because there is no IP. So you don't need to worry, today there is one IP, tomorrow one IP, day after tomorrow IP will change. You don't need to worry. Every day your google.com will be google.com only. That is why, because it's the domain name. That is how a single point of entry is possible with the help of this load balancer DNS. So how is, what will be this DNS, how it looks like, we'll see practically. But this is a theory, guys. Why we use load balancer, how we use load balancer, how the single point of entry is possible. This is complete theory. Any doubt in this? Till here, the theory.
No. No.
So what we'll do first, let me launch the web servers and let me launch the load balancer. Then we will connect. In this process, what are the different options we will be going through? Let's discuss them one by one. So let me log into the console. Some of you send me some doubts in WhatsApp group. We will discuss that at end of the class. Remind me. Okay, let's practice in no issue. So what instance? Launch instance. So just give some name. Web server security. You can gain name. That's nothing but just send me so that you can remember next time. What are the ports you need to open for a web server?
Number 80.
SSH and SSH, guys. SSH is for being the owner of the machine. You want to go inside the machine. For that SSH. HTTP is for public, only for port 80, not 22. If you give 22 for everyone, then they will go inside and they, of course they don't have your key page, so you don't need to worry even though if you give. But technically speaking, 80 is for accessing only website for public, 20 is for being the owner, you can go inside. So don't get confused there. Create a new campus, you can give anything, let's say web server. So what we'll do now, we will log into the machine and we'll perform the same commands like yesterday. Let's make it a web server. Just I have given the name web server, but it's not still web server. We have to go and make it web server by doing all these steps. This Linux command. So what we'll do, it is web server one. So we'll make web server. Meanwhile, what we'll do, we'll convert our PEM to PP. Since we have to connect from Windows to Linux. You can check. We have converted. This is yesterday's value. Okay. So now let's connect. Let's connect. Username at the rate of DNS. Copy. Open putty. Paste it here. SSH. Authentication. Now upload the PPK file. Make sure you're. I guess this is the place where you're getting so many errors. Make sure you're uploading PPK, not PEM file. Just check once. I think that might be the reason. I'm not sure, but it's okay. We'll discuss. So you know what is the first step? You need to become a
Sudo.
root user. Sudo. Go on off your video. So next steps. So just process. Next, if you want, you can update. It's an optional step. Update your OS. Update. So update minus other messages. If anything is there. It's not there. Okay. Now yum install HTTP. No. Currently we are in home EC2 user, but we want to go to where www.html. So where is anything is there? Nothing. So let's create a file, index dot home page file, index.html. So my web content is web server 1. So if you want, you can check the content. So whatever the comments I'm using every day, I have shared yesterday with you that document, and we have discussed even in yesterday's class. Right. Now we need to start the service. Again, so the wrong. Whenever you're typing command, just check what is the output. Don't simply blindly do. So what it says, fail to start. Why? What is the reason?
Spelling mistake.
Spelling mistake. So don't simply blindly type output. Just see the output also. You need to be careful with output. So now it is started. As I said, this is an optional one. Why we will use this, we have discussed already yesterday. Only if you want it to be always running, next time you reboot also, that you will fire this command, or else you don't use it. So that's why I'm not firing somehow. After 1 hour, we are going to terminate. So that's why I'm not keeping it in on state. So leave it. So now how can we check whether this became web server or not successfully? Copy the public IP. Paste in the. So yes, successfully we have made it web server. Now I am going to launch one more web server, guys, but in a different style. So one more option, you are going to learn something new here. So observe carefully. So launch instance now. I want to make my web server. Yes, I want to launch my web server, but how we are launching all these days? First you launch web server. I mean, not launch Linux server. Then you are going inside, SSHing inside, and manually you are firing comments. But I don't have that much time in company. Every time I can't go inside and fire all the 10 comments or 20 comments manually. So what I have to do when the mission is launching itself, I want to make it, I want to launch itself as a web server. That means I want to run my commands in the process of launching the mission automatically, not manually. So how is that possible? With the help of an option in the step 3. You see in the step 3, we have one option in the last end called user data. So what is this user data? Whatever the commands you want to fire after going inside and manually, whatever you want to fire. If you give all those commands here, it will only run for you. AWS only run for you those commands while launching the mission, so that when the mission has been launched successfully, straight away it will be web server only. That means if you place the public IP in the browser, you can see the web content. That is how it is. User data. Okay. So what are the comments? That's why you see below. I have filtered all the comments. Don't think these are something new. If you observe carefully, these are the just comments. So same comments without explanation. I have just removed this explanation and I have copy and pasted these things. So this is if you want to mention it.
There was a small doubt in this.
Which one?
So, how you are giving that commands in that, right? So the commands will execute while launching the mission. What if we gave a wrong command and
It won't execute. It won't execute. So when you paste that public IP in the browser, it won't show anything because it's error. You
Okay,
did not
it will-
launch your web server properly.
Okay, but it will launch the Linux string.
Yeah, that is for sure. Yeah, mission will be launched. But if there is some issue with the commands won't be executed properly. So now I am copying these comments as it is and I paste it. So what is the new thing which you are seeing in this whole comments? If you observe carefully, any line is new.
First line, bin bash.
Right. First line. Only this first line is something new. Rest all you know already. So what is this bin bash, guys? If you observe carefully, whenever I am running comments, where I am running these comments? What is this black screen?
Terminal.
Terminal. It's called Linux terminal, but actually the technical name is this black screen. We call it as shell. Dash shell. Dash shell means the interface. This black screen you see, this is supporting the Linux commands. Whenever you type ls, whenever you're typing echo, what are these? These are Linux commands. How it is able to respond to you immediately? This OS, this Linux OS is supported with this bash shell. That is the reason why whenever you type some Linux commands, it is responding you back immediately. Even though you're a human being, you're talking in that language. ls means list. So you're saying the OS, so it is responding you back with the help of this bash shell. Now, whenever you're giving these comments to AWS, so you're asking AWS to fire these comments for you. But how AWS is considering these comments? It is considered only as a form of plain text. But are these plain text or Linux comments? These are not plain text. These are Linux comments. So how can you make understand AWS that these are not something text lines? These are some Linux comments. That means first of all, you need to say to AWS, these are Linux comments, and you fire these comments in a terminal on a bash shell. So for that reason, you are saying to AWS that these are not text comments, but these are something to be executed on the bash shell. And where is that bash? Inside binary directory of Linux in the bash. That's why the first line we are giving this bash. So what is the reason we are giving this first line means? You are making AWS understand these are not plain text lines, but instead these are Linux commands. And you please fire these commands on the bash shell. That means that black screen terminal. Got it? Only that is the new thing, is nothing more than that. But when I am typing, when I am firing commands manually, why I did not fire that first line bin bash? So no, I'm not closing. I'm just minimizing. So that's why here wantedly I'm giving web server 2, guys. What is the content of the first web server? Web server 1. This is 2. Wantedly I'm giving. Why? Because we have to see, right, that load is getting distributed. That's why I'm giving second number, another number, something different. Fine. And rest all are same, nothing more. Only that is the only thing which is changed. Rest all are same. So you give web server 2. You can use the same security group which you are already having. Web server security group. Fine. And you can use the same TPA web server thing and launch the mission. So now I no need to do anything else. Just give it 2 minutes time, because what AWS will do, it will fire all the commands in the backend. The moment server launched, immediately it will be launched as a web server only. How can we cross check? By straight away pasting the IP in the browser, copying and pasting. So let it give some time. It will be launching meanwhile. I have given I have drawn 3 servers case, but for example, let's 2 is enough. Okay. So we have launched our web server 1. This is web server 2. I'm not launching. If you want, if you are getting confused, if you want, I will remove this. Anything 2 is enough for proving, right? Whether you launch 100 missions or 2 missions. The concept is same. We want to test whether the load is getting balanced or not. The first thing. Second thing is we want to check whether the traffic is being routed only to the healthy instance or not. These 2 things we want to cross check. For that 2 missions is enough. No need to have 100 missions or 3 missions. So let's say we can close this. Now let's say, if you want, you can refresh this page. Now let's check. Okay, public version. It's working or not? Second one. Did we fire comments manually?
No.
No. This is web server. So this is how you can save your time. In companies, you don't do everything like this every time. You don't fire comments manually. You just have a list of comments, just paste it there. Okay.
Sir, for one mission we can launch 2 servers.
What 1 mission, 2 server? Mission itself is a server.
Yes.
What is your doubt? Mission server, I don't understand.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, in the step 3, you are having number of missions. You know that already.
Yes,
How
sir.
many missions you want, you can launch. Just give the number there. That many
Okay.
missions will be launched. All will be having same web content, whatever you have given in the user data.
Okay.
Now, what is the next thing? Let's launch the load balancer. You see, come to the bottom here, the left side. Here you can see load balancers. So now let's launch load balancer. So create a load balancer. So you see all are load balancers only. If you observe carefully, all the names are load balancer, load balancer, load balancer. The only difference is the first name. Something is this is application, this is network, this is gateway, and this is classic. So the only thing is if the number of missions are more, you will go for the higher end. That's it. So if you are having less than 100 missions, you will go with this one. If you are having something between 100 to 200, you will go here. If you have something more than 200 and less than 400, you will use this. If you are having servers more than 400 or more than 500, then you will go with this type of load balance. So depending upon the capacity of your infrastructure, you will
Uh,
see load here.
Sir, I have one doubt actually. We are giving the commands in shell script mode, right? Some reason by mistake we are wrongly giving the command. At the time the server is not picking. So that time how to rectify the how to debug those commands?
Yes, we will discuss this in the end. Okay, whatever the doubts you just keep in your mind, we'll discuss in the because this will disturb my flow.
Yes, sure.
Yeah. So now let's give the name of your load balancer. So you can give anything. My ELB. You can give anything. There is no proper. You can give Raven, your name, anything. So I'm just giving my ELB load balancer. The first step. Next. So what is the security group? So what type of traffic load balancer should allow from the customers? Which port traffic? Then only it can reach the web server.
80.
80, only 80. So what I'm doing, I'm not creating any new security group now. Already there is one security group where 80 port is allowed, which we are using for web server. That's why I'm using the same security group for the my load balancer also. 80 you have opened. Now, yeah, this is something which we need to discuss a bit more time. Only technical thing here is only this thing. First of all, let me change this to minimum. What is the minimum of this? 5. This is 2. Just keep it. Fine, guys. This thing you know. What is the type of traffic? Web traffic means either HTTP or HTTPS. Since we are using HTTP, we don't have SSL certificates. We are going with HTTP. So definitely the port is 80. Next. Now let's discuss what is this index.html. Where did you find this? Already have we discussed this word or not? Index.html.
Yes, we discussed.
Where we place our homepage web content.
Right.
Yeah. Now what I'm saying is we already know the characteristic of load balancer. What is the characteristic of load balancer? It will make sure the traffic is routed only to the healthy server. But my question is, how will load balancer know whether the web server is healthy or not? For that, you need to give some reference, right? You need to give some reference to the load balancer. Hey, load balancer, this is your reference. You always check whether it is there in the web server or not. Some file, any file. You can create any file in the web server, and you will give that file name as a reference to this load balancer. And what load balancer will do, it will check every time frequently it will check for that file. Only if load balancer is finding that file, then only it will declare this server as a healthy server. For some reason, if load balancer is unable to find this file, what load balancer will do, it will declare this server as a unhealthy server. So what happens if a server is unhealthy? Will traffic come here? No. So this is how you will give reference to the load balancer with the help of some file name, any file name. That is called the health check file. The technical name of this file, we call it as health check file. Why health check file? Just now we discussed. Why? Because load balancer is checking the healthy status of a web server with the help of this file name. That's why this file we call it as health check file. Next comes the question. Why did I give index? Why it came automatically index.html? I said you can give anything. I can give, you see, I can give Revanth dot. You can change this. You can give Revanth.txt. But you need to make sure this file is present in your web server, right? So why I am giving index? Why it is automatically index.html when you enter this page? Simple, very technical logic. What your first of all, why we use load balancer? Definitely for distributing traffic among your web server. That is for sure. Anyone uses load balancer for distributing the traffic among the web servers. And what is a compulsory file in any web server? It's a proper file. Without that file, you can't show your website. Which file? Index.html. That means AWS is always sure that people use load balancer for web servers, and AWS itself know that for any web server, what is a compulsory file? Index.html. So that's why AWS only keeping here by default index.html. It is not compulsory that you need to use that. You can use any file. But why we are using that? Why? Because we already know that is a compulsory file. So why to create some other new file in web server and again give that name here? When you're already having this file in your web server, use that file only for health check. You understood, right? This point.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So the technical name of this index.html is it's a health check file. So what load balancer will do? Load balancer will always check for this file in your web server. Only if it finds that file, then only load balancer will declare your web server as healthy and it will send traffic to the web server. So don't think that Revanth we are having index.html in where www.html folder, but you are giving only in the root folder. What did I say? Everything starts with in Linux. Everything is under root only. So you no need to give absolute path. You can give any path. But that file should be present somewhere in the mission. That can be anywhere. Even though our file is present in index.html here, where www.html, what load balancer will do? No matter that file is present anywhere, load balancer will always go and check wherever it is present. You don't need to give complete path here. That's why I have given only root. Root means under somewhere C directory, somewhere it can be. No need to be exactly in the C directory. In the C directory, I have some 5 folders. In the 6th folder, I have my file. That is okay. Now these are the timings you need to first of all focus on. So if you observe carefully, the first two things are related to only time. And what is the second two? What do you mean by threshold? Threshold means
Limit.
limit or number of time. So half of your 90% of your clarity, your confusion will be gone here on if you observe carefully. The first two deals with the time. The second two deals with the number of times. That means frequency, threshold. Okay, just remember that. Now we will discuss the technicality of this timings. So what is happening is, this is our load balancer. This is our web server. This is our web server. So now assume this is Anup. Okay, this is Anup and I am Raymond. So let's assume this is our offline class. Okay, this is not offline. This is our offline class. So I have a doubt. It's okay, not offline. Let it keep online only. So now I'm having a doubt whether Anup is listening to the class or not, whether he's sleeping or maybe he just kept the video on, he's not listening to my class. So what I will say, I will check with Anup. I will say, hey Anup, are you listening to the class or not? So will he respond immediately? Anup has to take some time to register, right? What is the question I have asked? Whether it is only one Anup or two, three Anups are there in the class. Accordingly, they have to respond. Anup has to respond to me. So that time taken by the Anup to respond me to back, that we call it as response timeout. Okay. So the same thing here. Devon means the load balancer, Anup means any web server. So what means load balancer will send one request asking that, hey, index.html, you are there or not. For that, it will give response back to the load balancer. So this whole time, so coming the request and responding back to the load balancer, this time we call it as response timeout. Okay. So within 2 seconds, if it get response, that is fine. So it means it is healthy. Next, what is interval? Again, so let's say, so our class is 1 hour. I have confirmed with Anup only matter of 5 seconds. So maybe after 20 minutes, maybe Anup is sleeping. I don't know, right? So what I will do, I will wait for 5 seconds and again I will ask Anup, hey Anup, are you listening to the class? And again I will wait for 2 seconds. So what is this 5 seconds? This we call it as interval. That means the time taken between two successive, the time taken between two successive requests. What is two successive requests? The first request, 2 seconds, you have got response. Okay, fine. Again, you waited 5 seconds. Again, you confirm with Anup and you waited for 2 seconds. So this, the time between two successive requests is called as interval. Any doubt in these two values?
No, they don't do it.
No.
No. Yeah. So if you understood this, this is the main thing. These two are very easy, nothing much. Right. So let me draw diagram. The same thing. Now load the master. This is it. So I will draw the same diagram. So first response time I will 2 seconds, and again I will wait 5 seconds, and again load balancer will send one more request and wait for 2 seconds. Now when can I say, when can I confidently say Anup is not listening to my class? You see, now when I will send request to the Anup and I will ask, I will wait for 2 seconds, right? Anup did not respond me. So can I say Anup is not responding? It's not fair, right? Just giving only one chance is not fair. Maybe At that time only his headphones fall down from his ear. Maybe due to some internet connection he did not listen to my question. Due to some reason he did not respond to me. So I can't say him he is not responding to my class. So what I will do, I will confirm one again. So again I will wait for 5 seconds. Again I will ask him second time. Hey Anup, are you listening to my class? Even if the second time also, he is not responding, then I can confirm that he is not listening to my class. So how many times I have confirmed here before declaring that Anup is not listening to my class? 2 times. The same thing is unhealthy threshold. That means the number of times load balancer takes. That means the number of times load balancer check for the index.html file before declaring the web server is unhealthy is called as unhealthy threshold. That's why what did I say? Threshold means number of times. Okay. So the number of times load balancer will take before declaring any web server is unhealthy, that we call it as unhealthy threshold. Okay. Now the same thing, the number of times the load balancer will take before declaring the web server is healthy is called healthy threshold. Nothing more than that. If the number of times taken to declare unhealthy is called unhealthy threshold, the number of times taken to declare a server is healthy is called healthy threshold. Since this is the first time, that's why I have explained you very carefully and very slowly and neatly. So there should not be any confusion with these values. Of course, in real-time companies, this is not at all, you don't even spend 1 second outside this place, because already you have load balancers in your infrastructure. Simply, you will take the values. These are nothing technical, guys. This is just the values depending upon your that script, right? That project. So you have given 10 lines of script. So you know how much time it will take to launch that script. So accordingly, you will change the value. If let's say you have given 100 lines in the user data, so definitely it will take maybe 15 seconds or 20 seconds to execute it. So what you will simply will increase the time here, so 20, like that. Since we are having only some 5 lines in the Linux command, the minimum values is enough, 2, 5, 2, 2. But the concept is always same, these things. This is the only thing where you will get out. Other than that, remaining everything is easy. You see, in this all these 7 steps, nothing is difficult. Only thing, this is also not difficult actually. Since this is the first time I have explained this much time, but next time whenever you're practicing it, you don't even spend 1 second also. Launching load balancer is a matter of 10 seconds. Okay, it's very easy thing. So next, add easy instance. What did we thought? What is in the diagram? We are attaching our web servers, you see, to the load balancer. So where will you attach? In this load balancer. In the step 5, add EC2 instances. So let me add both. Next, add X. Even here. So you see, successfully now we have launched data, not data, load balancer. What did we thought, guess? Load balancer will have IP or what?
DNS.
It will have DNS. So you can see the DNS. Where is DNS? Here. So what we will give to the customers? This one. Why? Because no matter whether my web server is down or not working, always I will give to my customers this one. When customers hit this one, customer will think this is something name, but what is happening in the backend? This load balance is mapped to my instances. So even though if one machine is down, you don't need to worry. Automatically the traffic is routed to the healthy instance, which is running other one. So in the real time, this is how we manage. You see, Google, Facebook, YouTube, these all people have their load balancers behind. They don't operate on individual basis. Whether they have 1,000, 10,000, 1 lakh web servers, everything they will connect to the load balancer. That load balancer DNS that they will give to the customer. And where can you see these instances? You see here, instances. You see, whenever you have doubt whether the web server is working not or fine, you can see the status here. Status is in service means the web server is working fine. So how can you cross check? Simply, I will give you the DNS. You can only cross check this. Let me cross check this. Now you can check this. You can check in your mobile, your laptop, your iPad, anything. It works in anything. I will also check here. Let it give some time. It is still loading. That health check should be passed, right? Immediately it won't consider healthy. You have given the time, right? To 5 to what is that health check status? This one. So give it some time. Okay. So
So
whenever
can we use like multiple load balancer as well? Like we have thousands of
let's say you have multiple load balancers. Again, which DNS you will give to the customer? If you have 1,000 load balancers, what is the concept here? Single point of entry. How is single point of entry possible with the help of the single DNS?
single DNS.
Yeah. You can have, but there is no use when you can't give some contact details to customers. What is the use launching 100 instead of confusing the customers with every time changing the DNS name? That means today they will say google.com, tomorrow you say google.com has been changed to xyz.com. Will customers access that such type of websites? No.
No.
Yeah, now you see. So you are able to access web server. That is one thing. What is the first characteristic? Second characteristic we discussed. The load is being balanced. So how can you prove the load is being balanced? Do refresh, fast refresh. Load is getting balanced or not now?
Yes.
That means the second characteristic of a load balancer has been proved. The load is being balanced. Good. What is the third characteristic?
Traffic is routed to only to the highways.
You see,
Unhealthy server.
this is proved. This is proved. What we need to prove? The traffic is routed only to the healthy server. So how can I prove this? By making one server as unhealthy. So what did we discuss? How can you make a server healthy? How can load balancer check whether the server is healthy or not?
Next.html.
Right, good, good.
Remove the file.
The health check file. You see, you can say health check here. What is the health check file? Next.html. So if I have to make any server, any instance in these two unhealthy, what can I do? Either I can stop the server, either I can terminate the server, or I can simply delete the health check file. So which is the easy one? Let's delete. Since I already, let's delete the index.html. I already logged into the index.1, right? What is this? 172.31.44. Yeah, you see? 172.31.44.37. So what I will do, wantedly, I am making my server as unhealthy so that I can prove you that traffic is always routed only to the healthy server. So how can you delete it? Where are we currently? Where are we? Okay, fine. We're having index.html. So what is the command to remove?
RM.
rm. Simple command. Rm means remove. What you want to remove? File name. Give the file name. Index.html. Press enter. So it is asking remove regular file. Yes. You want yes. Give y. Enter. So how can you cross check it's removed or not? Tell us. So success. Have we removed or not file? Is there any file now in this path?
No.
No. See, nothing is there. When I press ls, nothing is there. So now you have made your server unhealthy. So what do you think is? What did I say? Will the server will be declared unhealthy immediately by the load balancer, or it will take some time?
It will take some
Will
time.
take
It will take some time, right? We have discussed that 2, 5, 2, 2. So what it will do? First time it will wait. This is 10 seconds it will wait. Again another 10 seconds it will wait. Why? Because 2 times. 2 into 5 is 1 time. 2 into 5 second time, like that 2 times. For 20 seconds it will wait. Only after 20 seconds it will declare this web server is unhealthy and it won't send any traffic to the web server. So next time, now after 20 or 30 seconds, when you try to access your DNS of the load balancer, no matter how many times you refresh, you will see only web server 2. You cannot see the web server 1. Why? Because it is down. The load balancer is not routing it there. How can you cross check? Okay, being customer don't know how many are there backend, which is down. Customer will always will be able to see Google server. You see, 1,000 web servers are there for Google. Even though 300 web servers are down, customers don't know why, because customers request will be routed to the another active 700 servers. So who will know these 300 servers are down? Being administrator, the engineers, the cloud engineers working in the Facebook or this YouTube will know how they will go and cross check in the load balancer. Can you see any difference between before and now?
Yes.
Yes.
Status is changing.
So what does it mean? Out of service means is it unhealthy or unhealthy? This is
Unhealthy.
Unhealthy.
now try to access that DNS guess which I have given you and try to refresh it like before and see what you are getting. No matter how many times you refresh, see, I'm hard. Yes, you can also hard refresh. Press refresh that browser. No. See, no many times I refresh it. Every time I see web server 2 only. Why? Because the load balance is routing only to the healthy server. So the third point is proven or no? The third characteristic. The traffic is routed only to the healthy server.
Healthy.
Now what we'll do? Let's create it back again. Let's create it back. So what is the command? Let's create back healthy server again because we want to check the healthy threshold limit also. Whenever the server become healthy, immediately it won't become healthy again. Again, it will take that time 20 seconds before declaring it as healthy. So let's create the health check file. You see, guys, I have pasted health check file. That doesn't mean it is healthy immediately. See, if you want, you can come and check here. See, it came here. It is showing in service. Why? Because load balancer is able to find index.html. But if you try to access the same thing here, it won't show web server 1 immediately. Why? Because it has to go through that health check process 2522. Then only it will show there that it is healthy. So where is the DNS? Copy this. Okay. You know, it came like automatically. You don't need to do anything manually there. Being a cloud engineer, if you're sure that there is some issue with web server, you don't need to worry. The website won't be down. Why? Because the other active instances will be take care of your website. Meanwhile, you can go and debug. Okay, what is the issue with my web server? So first you will go and check the command what you have run. You will go and check all the directory structure, whether where www.html is formed, whether the index.html is there or not, whether you have opened a security group or not. All these things you will check. Meanwhile, you will do the debugging process. Once it is healthy, automatically load balancer only will pick it up and send the request. So this is the use case of load balancer. This is how we use this load balancer, how we map it to the instances, and how will you check whether the instance is healthy or not. All these things will be taken care. So now once you are done, again every day you can practice this load balancer. There is no like free tier limit. I think free tier limit you can use 2 to 3 load balancers, so no need to worry. You can practice it. You won't get any bill. So once you're done, first terminate the missions. And then you can terminate the load balancer. Yes, please do it. Please do it. Save load balancer actions, and you can delete this load balancer. Once you're done practicing it, when you're also good. So these are the technical concepts. You see, if anyone asks, the first thing is load balancer won't have IP, you have DNS. So what is the advantage of this DNS? This is because for achieving the stability, of single point of entry with the help of DNS, because name will never change. IPs might change, but names will never change. That's the reason we choose DNS as a single point of entry because of this DNS. So one thing. The traffic is always routed only to the healthy server with the help of the health check file which we have given as index.html. Please. Yeah. So some of you are having doubts, you can ask me.
Hi, sir.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. Yesterday, I'm creating the connection to the web server to use SSH client. I got an error. The error should be like in no supported authentication method available, public PHP keys like that.
Okay.
Already I ping in WhatsApp.
Yeah. I sure not only you, for some others also it was the same issue. So I'm not understanding why. Maybe there is some issue with the version which you have downloaded. Maybe I was thinking that putty and puttigen I was thinking because of that you're getting that error. And one more thing, while you're trying to connect, are you giving PEM or PPK?
PPK.
Okay. That's
Yeah,
good.
last Thursday class I tried in Ubuntu on Unix server. It's working fine at the time.
Yeah, at that time you no need to have puttigen, right? If you're trying from Linux to Linux.
No. At the time I used to downloaded Putty and converted to .ppm file to PPK file, and I work on it Linux and as well as Ubuntu also. Both
Okay.
are working fine.
Then in that case it should work this also. I am not sure why, for which reason you are getting that thing. Because if it's working for Ubuntu and other things, definitely it should work for Linux also. Because you see, Putty is nothing but it's just a tool. There are so many tools in the market. You no need to rely on Putty. Since it's a traditional way we are using Putty, there are so many user-friendly tools compared to Putty. If you can just search in Google and simply you know how to connect it just by giving the details. Instead of Putty, you can use any other tools if you are having any problem. Let's say sometimes in our companies also, if due to some reason maybe their OS is not supporting Putty and Putty, then what they'll use another software. Simply they will download and use the other one. The Putty is just for connecting. That is not a technical thing. Anything. If you are facing anything, you can use the other thing. But here I am not sure why you are not able to access. Maybe I don't know where exactly you are doing any mistake.
Yesterday you shared one link right to download the Putty. Can I use that link to again reinstall the Putty?
Yeah, you do one thing. You can delete that one, uninstall or delete that one, and you try to reinstall that one.
Okay.
And try that. I think the same dot for others also. Someone texted me. For you also the same. You also try to do the same thing. Others, I don't remember who was that dot exactly. You also try doing that, removing that old which you have already installed, and you install the new one. Yeah. Other than that, any doubts in today's class? Yes, I'm done with today's class. Those who are not having doubts, you can leave the meeting. We'll meet on tomorrow's class. But who are having doubts, please stay back and get them clarified.
Even I practice it. So
Yeah.
I have small like as this load balancer, make sure that load is equally balancing to all the healthy servers. So
Right.
instead of that, can I say like most of the load must go to server one. If the load crosses 70%, then only it must use server two. Is that can we keep any conditions like
No,
that?
no, that is not possible in the load balancer. That option the AWS is not giving to us.
And
The round robin services, right? The round robin means equally distributed.
Right. Yeah. That's why I said round robin. Round robin means equally distributed. If you want to use whatever you asked, 70% to one server, 30% other server, for that you need to use some external tools like HAProxy web servers. You need to install that HAProxy, you need to configure that web server. Then in the HAProxy configuration file, you can define manually. For that,
so that can be integrated with AWS or
no.
this.
That is usually these DevOps people, the Linux people, they do because it's a proper technical things. You need to have proper Linux knowledge, and you need to know the what is HAProxy, what are its concepts, everything.
Thank you. Ram.
Revant, one doubt.
Yeah.
See, in that slash var www in that index HTML file will be there, right? So, what is the permissions we have to provide? So we used to change that permissions, right? Okay, whether it is 400 or 555.
No, you don't need to give. You just change it. For this, there is no need permission. Why? Because AWS will be able to access it. Ultimately, AWS is having complete permissions over the server. So you don't need to change the permissions. So
Okay, it's not like as a Linux, right? Because
no,
Linux
right.
sometimes, yeah, the files, the permissions we have to change. Okay,
Right,
the
right.
reading.
Here you don't need to do that. No issues.
Uh,
Simply just file should be present. That's it. No need of permissions.
and this load balancer also, it's like as a round robin, right? Okay, the AWS only will allows only the round robin method only.
Yeah, only
Or
round robin. Only it supports only round robin.
like we have a in big IP like a F5 load balancer will by having like a sticky sessions and cookies and persistency. The concept method also is there. So do we have such kind in this AWS?
No, no. We have only round robin. Why is that reason also you'll understand in tomorrow.
Okay,
Because
fine.
we're not going to use only load balancer. Along with load balancer, we are going to use one more component that we'll discuss tomorrow. Then automatically understand why AWS supporting only round robin.
Okay.
Yeah, someone asked if I want to edit some comments in AWS, is that possible or I have to implement? Yeah, you see, like if you are, let's say you by mistake you have in the user data you have given wrong comments, so that means your web server won't work properly. So what you have to do, you have to SSH inside the machine and manually you have to rectify those mistakes by firing the comments again, proper comments manually. Yes. So is that so? Yeah.
Hi, Revan.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, yesterday we given public IP address, right?
Right.
To browse the
Even to
when
we can check with that.
when we will use that private address.
Private that we will discuss in coming classes. When we discuss VPC, then you will understand what is this public, what is this private, when we use public, when we use private. All these things we will discuss in VPC.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, guys. Have a nice day. We will meet in tomorrow's class. Take care. Bye.
Thank you, Ravi.
Bye.